Hi guys, welcome to On the Level Racing channel. We're going to have a look over this weekend's racing coming up, which we do have some great racing from Haydock. Also, we have the Irish Classics over in Ireland, the Curragh, with the 2,000 and 1,000 guineas. So we're going to go straight into it because I've got quite a short day today. So we're going to start off, obviously, with tomorrow's racing, which comes from Haydock. And there's two races I'm going to have a good look at here. The first one being the Sandy Lane Stakes, where we will see once more Symbol of Honour come up here for the informed Charlie Appleby and William Buick. But here for me, I want to focus on three races here. And three entries. So the first one we're going to have a look at here, obviously, is Symbol of Honour. Last time, obviously, we saw him was winning quite nicely in the Carnarvon Stakes when beating Ides of March. The one I actually like to take out the race was a Sayada Darian, Richard Hughes horse, which I thought ran quite well. Just got a bit outpaced in the last furlong. However, yeah, that would be for me. That fact is Symbol Honour. Took the race well, settled very well in the race, came through within the last furlong and took it up quite nicely and was going away at the end. The Ides of March, I think it was the first run of the season. So really, he was up against a horse that already had a run. But as for winner of this Symbol of Honour, I don't think that pace at the end is there to get there. The second horse obviously will be Big Mojo, Mick Appleby's horse. Yard's in great form. We've had a couple of good place runs in big races this week. Won nicely on seasonal debut when the Commonwealth Cup trials over at Ascot, beating Diablo Rojo at 8, nobody back in third, who he will reoppose this afternoon. Back in sixth was Candy. Big Mojo did it well. Came there on the far outside, picked it up, and was he really going away? Not that far away. He wasn't really picking up in the closing stages, but he did enough to hang on to beating Diablo Rojo by half a length. But for me, I think that both could struggle here to get to the likes of the Irish runner here. Arizona Blaze. Now, I was quite taken the way this horse actually won the Prix Signet over in Father Chantilly back in mid-April. Very impressive. David Egan took the race by the balls, led from the start, and never really got pegged. Never looked like he was going to get pegged back. That was over 5.5 furlongs. I think on this good to firm ground, I think he will be very hard to beat. He is going to be difficult to pass, I think. He seemed to have plenty in tank, another gear. David Egan wasn't really hard on him. So, yeah, I think there's no reason why he could dictate the pace again here if he gets out in front and could certainly hold off the likes of Big Mojo and Symbol of Honour. Well, we have to look at the unbeaten juvenile Power of Glory. I mean, he's coming out the back of the Mill Reef Stakes last year on heavy ground when winning. As one on good to firm. We're winning a maiden race over at Pontefract last year. We'll have to see how the transition has gone for Richard Fahey's horse. But there was a lot of talk that he's got great potential, Powerful Glory. So he's the one to watch out for on seasonal debut. Not many have actually come out here and won seasonal debut. They do have preferred that at least had a few runs or at least a run prior to this race. So as a bet for me, it would have to probably be Arabian Blaze here for Deegan and Andrew Murray. I mean, round 9-2, third in the market. I think he definitely could dictate the pace here how he wants. And it could be very hard to pass here. I wasn't very impressed with Big Mojo. He was very hard to settle in the beginning of the race last time out. Very high head carriage, putting too hard for me. But obviously, when got there, won well, but didn't really go away and impressed me. Symbol of Honor, yeah, impressive. Picked up from the front, up just inside the last furlong, and went away. But for me, Arizona Blaze definitely. I think a good point when they're at 9-2, no each way, straight on the nose. I think he could probably get in the front and hold the race in the closing stages. On to the 3:30 Haydock, which is Temple Stakes. Again here, a very good renewal for me. Very difficult renewal. Due to the fact that I'm just going to get some stats up here. I nearly couldn't. I've got to write something. Okay, so hang on a minute. Give me a second. I'm just going to get it up correct what I want. Okay, so the race I want to look at here is the Palace House Stakes, which is run at Newmarket. There's a few as coming from that race coming into this again. So let's have a look. So we look at Washington Heights. This horse is quite hard to follow and get right. So this is the race. The Palace House Stakes. Now it tends to fans' favour horses that finished at least in the top 4 of that race. I mean, for me, I like personally the She's Quality. I mean, I think she absolutely outran her odds at 20-1 to be beaten 11 for the quarter by Rumstar, and obviously she will reappear again and take on Rumstar and Washington Heights and Twilight Calls. Twilight Calls did not impress me on term. Could not get on term at all. I thought was good enough drawn from stall 3 to get there, but struggled. Rumstar got the rail run in stall 1 and basically was never really had any trouble to win the race under Rob Hornby for John Portman. Again, the thing about Washington Heights is he's very hard to catch. He's going to get at stall 8 here, which I don't think is great stall. That's what will put me off. And I would like to switch more towards the filly here. She's Quality. I mean, she's going to have to step up again to even figure in this race. But the fact that she has run in Group 1 company, she was 10th in the Flying 5 last year behind Brad Sell. Never got going at all. We all know it. It's a tough race, but seems to have changed the jockey to John Ryan. Ran really well, and I think this horse could progress again and outrun. That's got a great draw in stall 2, and I think She's a Quality could definitely outrun her odds. I mean, she's around 10-1, 11-1 in places, so I won't be surprised she's thereabouts. Washington Heights, I think, needs 6 furlongs. I think the 5 furlongs too sharp. Would have to literally be on the front end, which it doesn't tend to be, to even get close to this. Interesting one, Ed Walker. We've got William Buick on the mare on Magira. Last seen over at Longchamp were in the Prix de Saint George when winning it quite nicely. And really, looking at the stats of that race, I mean, I don't think the winner could win it. I think you could probably, if you was going to back anything from that race, from the Prix de Saint George, I would probably go, believe it or not, the beaten favourite in that race, Electric Storm. I mean, I wouldn't go for the winner, Magira. Electric Storm, I think, yeah. So Electric Storm for James Tate. Daddy Tulloch rides it. You know, Daddy Tulloch's got a great record when he comes over to the Curragh. And I think it's another horse that, you know, if you're going to Dutch, cut a nice price here, I can't see no reason why this won't run well. I mean, Daddy's only ridden the horse twice and won twice. He's got a 100% record, and I would not put him out of having a crack here at a good price. I mean, he's currently double figure price here, 16-1, very big price. The fact that he's drawn his stall 4, which ain't going to inconvenience him, quite a nice draw there in mid to low. So yeah, I would actually go 2 against the field here. I mean, at the prices, really good prices. So I would have both each way on Electric Storm and She's Quality, both to run well in this race. So that's the 2 races that Haydock covered. So we're going to go over to the Curragh. I don't fancy anything else around in the UK soil. So we're going to go to the Greenland Stakes, which is the 305 at the Curragh. Here, I'm very, very interested on Ryan Moore and AP O'Brien's first run for AP O'Brien. He's an ex-inmate of Guy Waterhouse in Australia. And they did win this with a horse back in 2018 called Merchant Navy, where they purchased him from Australia, and he came out and won first time out. And to be honest, it's not really a strong renewal. I mean, the Lethal Levi was 5th last time out. I can't fancy that at all. More of a 5 furlong sprinter for me. Big Gossie will have to step up. Again, could only manage 5th in the Power Sprint Stakes at Naas back on the 18th of May, and the Billy Lee hasn't really shown. He's more of a place horse more than win. Big Gossie. Billy Lee will take the ride. Grand Grey for Kevin Ryan comes over Jamie Spencer on board. Again, it would probably be a Jamie Spencer tactics at the back, come late, as he did in the Aberdeen Stakes. No reason why he went well, but I just can't have Grand Grey Lethal Levi from that Aberdeen Stakes, to be honest. I just think they both haven't got the pace to win this race. So I think it could be a quite good buy by O'Brien here, purchase. And I think first time out, I think Storm Boy could literally take this quite comfortably. Let's figure it out. I mean, he finished 3rd in the Golden Slipper over at Rosedale in Australia last March, of over 6 furlongs on good ground, beating 11th and a quarter to Lady Camelot and Coleman. And then he had a crack at a Group 1 when finishing 8th in the TAB Everest at Randwick on a big weekend of racing. He wasn't fancy to win the race. It was quite a messy affair. Big outsiders won the first 3 races. So I think it's a good buy. I mean, I don't think he's coming into this really much to beat in the race. Great draw. I think Storm 9 a bit concerned. Not a greatest draw, but if he's good enough, he could definitely have a crack at this and go close. That's Storm Boy, and that would be probably a 2-point win at 7-4. He's currently at 7-4. Hopefully, you get a little bit of drift about 2s, maybe 9-4 on the day, because I think that's quite short. Anything in the race? My mate Alfie for Jer Lions. Yard's not really firing at the moment. Beaten by 2 stars in the Woodland Stakes. Back there in 4th was Big Gossie, since has not run very well. As I said, finishes 6th in the Aberdeen. So, yeah, I can't have that either. I think Colin King's main ride is going to be on Field of Goals in the Guineas. So that's the Greenland Stakes. I'll go for Storm Boy, the favourite there. I think it's a very weak renewal of the Greenland Stakes, and I think you could probably take that quite comfortably. On to the big classic of the on Saturday, the first 2 of the classics here. They put Field of Gold in here as even money. How can I read it? So look, favourites have done so when English trainers have sent horses over here at short price, they have tend to have won. The last 2, like the last 3 years, Charlie Appleby and Richard Haddon sent over Azalian and Native Trail, both winning and won at 2-5, 10-11. And yeah, odds on shots have done very well here. Churchill won at 4-9. Glen Eagles won at 2-5. There's been some hot pots being overturned as well. Field of Goal at even money. My concern with Field of Goal is that everyone's slagging off Kieran Schumark over what happened. I mean, it was amazing what he'd done and came out and on live TV to speak to Matt Chapman and said, like, he got it all wrong, which very bold, which lost him his job. Well, didn't lose him his job, but he lost him from riding Field of Gold straight away. So now we've got to stay, they're using the best jockeys around to Field of Gold who can get books. Now, obviously, Colin Keane, he's a great substitute, definitely. And he knows where the winning line is. For me, the fact that Colin Keane is still looking for his first win in this race gives me a concern. There's trends and voodoos there for a reason. Sorry, I do a lot of, my apologies, I take that back. He's won it, Colin Keane won it once with Siskin. Sorry, my fault, with Good for Girl Lions back in 2020. So he has won the race once. Not many jockeys, so Shane Foley's won it a time. Ryan Moore, as we also know, Ryan Moore, Josie O'Brien. Yeah, but as I said, the last 2 or 3 years, it's gone to the British trainers. And this time around, yeah, you got Field of Gold, you got Cosmic Year. Now, Cosmic Year was supposed to run in the Guineas, but they decided they elected to drop him down to listed company, drop him down to listed company when he won the King Charles II Stakes quite comfortably under Ryan Moore. But obviously, Ryan Moore stayed loyal to his hometown, own trainer, which obviously is unbelievable. Symbol of Honor was back in 6th in the King's Charles as things come out and franked that form. But is Cosmic Year a horse that could win over a mile? Yeah, he looked good when winning it, but he's now gone up £10 for the win. Big hike. Yeah, and I think he will have to try and find a little bit extra to win this. I couldn't have expanded, even though the horse finished 9th in the E2, the 2000 Guineas. I said I just can't have. I might be cruel to the horse, but I just can't have Field of Gold. I just don't think the horse settles. I think whoever's going to ride it's going to be a bit difficult. Despite the tactics that are coming through, depends where Colin Keane's going to have Field of Gold this time around. Is he going to be? I think they're going to want him off the pace. Literally, maybe second or third on the pace, not like Kevin Schumacher rode him at the back, which I understand the instructions were for him to be on the pace, which obviously the jockey didn't listen to. So this time, I would like to probably see him on the pace here. Scorby Champ, couldn't have him for Josie O'Brien, even though Josie O'Brien's won his eight a few times. And again, I'm not slacking the horse off. Finished back in 7th here in the 2000 Guineas. Didn't really land a blow, didn't really get going. Looked to be struggling quite a way out as well. For me, the horse that should have won the race was Shadow of Light, but didn't. Again, they could all blame Miko Barcelona. Nothing wrong with that. Miko is riding very well in France at the moment. He's had quite a few winners recently the last few days. So it's not the jockey's fault. It's that I think Shadow Light got there too quickly that day. And first, Field of Gold came off the pace. But I just think what's going to go against Field of Gold for me? If he's not there beyond the pace line and not settles, he's going to find it very, very hard to win this race. Drawing is stall 9, so he got a good draw to win this, really. Officer, yeah, I liked the attitude of this horse, the way he went about his business here over the course and distance when landing the Teteract Stakes under Ryan Moore. Won it quite nicely, length and 3/4. It's another, again, this is another good trials race for this. The thing is, maybe he's not had enough runs to really consider that he could win the race, but I think he could certainly place, and he's a nice price match, 7-1. Rashabar, Brian Meansall, Sean Levy comes to ride. Sean Levy won this race last year with Rizalian. Going to go try and go back to back. Good jockey. Just got touched off by John Quill in the Greenham Stakes over at Newbury back on the 12th of April 2025. And John Quill again's run well. Just got pipped behind Henri Matisse in the French 2000. So I expect Rashabar to run well again. Stall there in stall 1. No reason why won't run well from that stall. Stall 1 has won this race on for 4 occasions, 2 occasions over the last, 3 occasions over the last 6 years. So I want right off Rashabar, and Sean Lee was an exceptional jockey for me. Hot Says Hell, Jessica Harrison's horse, coming here, first time out of the season, very bold to put her in there, but the form does stand there. I mean, it was on soft ground. I thought it was on boggy ground. It was terrible when Delacroix and Hot Says Hell pulled way clear of their rivals in that race in the Futurity Trophy Stakes, the last Group 1 of the campaign last year. Both pulled better clear. Hot as Hell got the better of Delacroix, where we know Delacroix's got on since then, won two good races, which was the Batty Sachs on seasonal debut, and it came out and won the Derby Trial recently. Back in third was William Hawkeye, as we know, finished 5th in the 2000 Guineas and finished 3rd in the Dante. So there again, and finished second behind Field of Gold previous to that Guineas race. So yeah, there's a few good ifs and buts there. Like I said, we know the main horse here is Field of Gold. I think Field of Gold, I'll be happy for Field of Gold to lose this race and then go on. And as I said, I wanted to go on to run well in the Derby. I think he's going to be very hard to beat the O'Brien horse in the Derby, the favourite. But for me here, it's a very, very tough race, and I'm going to take a stab here on Rashabar. I think the horse just won't be out of the frame. I'll be very surprised if the horse is out of the frame. I think Sean Leary, superb jockey, good draw in stall one. I think he could possibly boss from there, really. 14-1, a big price, very big price. I think an each way bet here on Rashabar. And if you want another bet, just see if the money comes for Officer tomorrow, because I know this horse only had 3 runs. Then he had two runs as a 3-year-old, one as a juvenile. But I wouldn't put you off. He's a horse that's going to progress quite quickly, and he's by Dabawi. So I would say Rashabar is my main bet of 14-1 each way. And I think Officer run well, so a little each way on Officer as well. That's 15-2 and 14-1. They're both backable each way shots. So that's really the races I'm going to cover for Saturday. I will do Sunday at some point tonight or maybe tomorrow morning, because obviously you've got 1,000 Guineas and some good racing on at the Curragh on Sunday. So that is really it, guys. So that's my selection. I'll be happy to go back over them now. If you missed them, just give me a second. I will certainly go back and get the cards up and give you what my bets will be. So it will be, it's all tomorrow, none today. So it's the Sandy Lane Stakes is the 3 o'clock at Haydock tomorrow. And I'd like to be on Arizona Blaze, about 9-2. And then you've got the 3:30 at Haydock tomorrow, which is the Temple Stakes. And I would like to be on here each way on She's Quality and Electric Storm. They are 11s and 16s. Big prices, good chances, both of them. And then we go on to the Curragh, where we have 2 selections there, which is the Greenland Stakes, which is the 5-3 at the Curragh. I'm going to nap this horse here. Storm Boy, I think it's a shrewd buy by the yard and the owners, and to pick up a horse that could probably quite comfortably beat this lot. That's nap 7-4. Hopefully it drifted a little bit, but that would be my nap bet. And then on to the main race, the first Irish Classic, which is the 3:40 at the Curragh. And I'm going to back both each way here. I'm going to have a little bet each way on Officer at 15-2. Hopefully a little drift on it. And I'm not going to leave Rashabar alone at 16-1 each way. So that's my bets, guys, for Saturday's racing. I'll get back to you on about Sunday. There'll be another video separately for this. So I hope you enjoyed it. Best of luck. Bet responsibly and don't lose too much. Happy back on the weekend.